Hi creative friends, this is Rhea and thank you so much for being here. So this is part 3 of my Embracing the Mess spread. I've allowed it to completely dry, and actually if you take a look at the first 2 videos, it really was a mess. Now a lot of times I want it to be a mess. I love the mess. I want it to be like really juicy, and to me a mess, creativity is messy. It's not like all neat and tidy. It just isn't. I can only speak for myself, but there's a lot of struggle. There's a lot of second guessing myself. There's a lot of me not knowing what I'm doing, not knowing where the spread is going, not knowing how it's going to turn out, not knowing if I can, pull the spread out to where it wants to go. So creativity is a very messy process. And to me, that's part of the joy of creativity is I don't want to know where it's going. So it's kind of like a roller coaster, and it's very it mimics life in so many ways. So the first thing I'm going to do is just take a look through my viewfinder, and there's a lot that I'm really interested in. Like I'm loving these shapes over here, the stencil. There's a lot that is really calling me and speaking to me. So now I'm going to figure out what I want to do, where I want to go. And I've set some paints on this little paper plate palette over here. And I'm not sure if I'm going to use all of these paints, but it's it's a starting point. So let me see here what I need to do. And I think the very first thing I want to do is just kind of tighten things up a little bit. So this shoulder is like too broad on this side, and probably on this side too, but let me see here. I don't want to narrow it too much. And I'm just using my Stabilo pencil, and it's wet. And that way I get some really juicy marks here. And I might use oil pastels in this layer, but I'm not sure yet. But I'm thinking that maybe that's what I need. But I also need to figure out what I'm going to do for the hair. So I don't think I'm going to make big hair. I want to, but I don't have enough room. So I might have to kind of make just like, just some hair. Okay. And I want to try to keep some of this stencil for the hair over here if I can, because I think that's really interesting. So I'm going to see if I can do that. And now I might put in some features for the face. And I'm going to use my marker, I think, to draw in the lips there. But let me see here. Now I might have to get rid of this pattern on the face here because it is too distracting, and I might just keep it in the hair. But, you know, like I always say, it's better to keep something and then cover it up later rather than covering it up, because then I can't retrieve it. So there we go. And let me try to add some lips here. And I'm going to try not to get too fussy with the face, because I can really kind of obsess about the face sometimes. And I have to really work at making a looser face. It's something I'm practicing. But once I start working on the face, I can really get tight with everything. So let me see here. So the next thing I want to do is use my chalk paint for the background, because I need to add another layer of it. So I think I'm going to do that now. Excuse me. So a lot of times when I make these series of videos, I think I'm going to be done in, like, you know, by the third or the fourth one, and sometimes it goes longer than that. So please let me know in the comments if that is a problem for the majority of you guys. Do you like the series, or is it kind of, would you want me to edit all the videos into, say, 1 or 2 videos? You know, I don't know if there's a preference, or I just figure that, you know, if you guys are working along, then it's just a natural stopping point. And it helps me out, so I don't have to spend, you know, 12 hours editing the videos, which would kind of break my brain. But just let me know if you guys have a preference either way, because there's no way for me to kind of anticipate like how long something is going to take. Like, even if I plan it out, like, there's just no way for me to figure that out. Okay, so I think that cleaned that up quite a bit, and I'm gonna let that dry and then probably come in and put another coat of the chalk paint later. But for right now, that cleaned it up quite a bit. Okay, so now I'm gonna figure out what I want to do for the dresses over here. I know I want to keep this stencil, so I think what I'm gonna do is get some yellow and just lay it over top of that like that. And this is a wash, so I'm adding a lot of water. I received a comment on one of my videos from last week that said that the person said that they didn't know that they could water down acrylics. So yes, you can water down acrylics, and there's actually a medium, and it's called a flow medium, and Liquitex makes it, and I think quite a few other brands make it as well. And if you add it to your acrylic paints, it makes it really liquidy without detracting from the color or the texture or the well, it is going to affect the consistency, but it's not going to affect the consistency in any negative way. But I just use water. Like, if you want to use the flow, you can. And I actually have a bottle of the flow medium that I purchased many years ago, but I tried it out a couple of times, but I just use water. And I think over here, I'm going to go for an orange. So I'm going to add another coat of orange here. And I am adding a lot of water. So I want to retain that green for right now. And so when I add the water, it's making it transparent so you can still see the previous layer. And I really like that sometimes. Like I want that effect. And I'm just going to bring some of this into the face and maybe over there, just to kind of move the eye around. And over here, I think I'm going to go for a pink. And again, I want it to be translucent, transparent. So I'm adding water. And when you do it this way, when you water it down, like I can also see some of the orange showing through. So it really makes for some beautiful variations in your color. And I'm going to put that on the lips there. So when I have a little bit of extra paint on my brush, I do try to add it to other parts of the painting, because not only, you know, is it a good use of my paint, but it's moving my eye around the page. So I'm gonna put some blue for the hair here. So even if I choose to put brown as the final hair color, I want there to be some variation so it's not a flat color field. So I'm just gonna kind of drag some of this blue in here. And as you can see, the page is really shaping up. Like it's really getting some dimension, and all the messiness that was apparent in my, you know, first two layers, it's kind of really coming together. It's still, there are parts of it that are still messy, which, you know, I appreciate and welcome. And just drag some of that in there. And so now what I'm going to do is I am going to allow this to completely dry. And let me move that out of the way there. And I'm going to allow this to completely dry. And this is the end of part 3 of my Embracing the Mess series. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.